Welcome back to another episode of Sofa Talk with Sophia Izzy. I hope you're all doing well. Today's episode is a little story time of why I haven't been to the hairdressers since I was 15 and now I'm 22. So how many years is that? Basically, I haven't been to the hairdressers in 7 years. And you're probably thinking, well, hang on a minute, your hair would be in absolute tatters if you haven't been to the hairdressers in that long. Rest assured, my mum does cut my hair. So we're going to be talking about the absolute disaster of what happened to me at the hairdressers. It was traumatic. I have never been so upset. It genuinely left me with like hair dysmorphia for years, if that's even a thing. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's get right into it. I've got a little simple but effective mug today from IKEA. I've actually drank half of it already, so cheers. When I was 15, my mum decided that I needed to get my hair cut and she took me to a new hairdresser's that I hadn't been to before. Now, as you can see, I've got quite thick hair. When I say quite, it's so thick, like it's so heavy. For many years, I would get it thinned. I don't get it thinned anymore because I'll explain that in a minute. But I'd always been to this other hairdressers in the town that we lived and I'd never had any issues. I'd always come out of the hairdressers with a Brazilian blow dry and my hair straightened, so it would always look gorgeous, very glamorous. I was always happy with the results. So for some reason, we couldn't go to my usual hairdressers and we had to book me in to another hairdresser's. Biggest mistake my mum ever made. For some reason, I was just getting a trim that day. I wasn't getting my usual Brazilian blow dry. Like, my hair is currently in a Brazilian blow dry and straightened. I've done another hair video on my channel. If you'd like to check that out, I'll attach the little link for you. And I think I was going to go home and blow dry it. I think my mum just wanted to like save money, understandably. I went through a phase back then where I wanted to have a blonde balayage. I still would like a blonde balayage, but I'm too scared because I don't want to ruin my hair. I'm not saying it would, but you know, when you hear all these horror stories of when people bleach their hair and it falls out, I genuinely think that would be me. I've only just got my hair back to a very thick, healthy state after all these years. I told the hairdresser that, and she said they would do a strand test for me, not knowing until after she'd done it that she cut a giant chunk of my hair out from the back, like this big. But guess what she did? She didn't cut the whole hair out, she cut it to here. I was just left with some strange short chunk. That was the first disaster. Couldn't quite believe she'd done that. That's not really what you should do. I just think if you're gonna have a strand test, you maybe shouldn't do it that way. I think the hairdresser must have been new or a trainee. I know it is a known technique because you need to know how light your hair can get. But to cut that much out my hair and leave like a half strand, it was already the beginning of the end, basically. After that, she then trims my hair. What can go wrong, really, when you get your hair trimmed? I think my mum asked her to do the usual thing that I'd always had done and never had an issue with: trimming and thinning. Now, if you get your hair thinned, it's quite an interesting technique, but it also has many downsides. You're meant to thin your hair sort of this layer. You're not meant to do it from the top because then it's more visible. And what happens is when you get your hair thinned is they use these scissors with many short little blades on it, and it almost cuts the thickness out of your hair, but in the process it leaves lots of tiny little incisions on your hair where they've cut it. So on one hand it's beneficial if you can't see those little incisions. However, if it's done very badly or wrong, then you will have lots of little spikes in your hair. So it really does have to be done with precision and by a professional. And also, more importantly, where is the bulk of your hair usually? It's clumped at the top halfway sort of area, not the bottom. And here is where it all went wrong. I was sat in the hairdressing chair and I could see her thinning my hair from the bottom, and I was thinking, like, what's she doing? That isn't how it's been done before. We've been watching tutorials, we've seen other hairdressers do it, this is not how it should be done. I didn't say anything because I thought, oh, maybe it's just a new technique, maybe like I'm wrong, I'm not a hairdresser. The haircut is over. You wouldn't know there's a problem at this point because curly hair is obviously bouncy and springy, and it's naturally different levels. One curl might spring up to here and another curl might spring up to here. However, I don't wear my hair curly in the UK. I'm hoping to change that soon, and I haven't done since I was 11 because I got a block fringe. Also a big mistake. After that, I just wore it straight all the time. I leave the hairdressers thinking everything is absolutely fine and dandy, go home, and this is where the disaster unfolds. I blow dry my hair and then I straighten it. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with my hair? It was literally 100 different levels. So if I show you on my hair now, obviously at the bottom now it's all the same length. It would be like some there, some up here. Basically, trying to explain this terribly, it was different levels, it was different layers. It was like a rat's tail. It was very thin and it was also very uneven. This is how your hair should look after a haircut. It was terrifying. I go into the bathroom to see this and literally start screaming because my hair is my pride and joy. My hair is everything to me. I was staring in this mirror in disbelief. I was like, Mum, please come in. Anyway, she comes in. I'm on the floor of the bathroom having like a mental breakdown, and bear in mind it was short as well. Like, she'd cut it short, and that was another reason I don't like going to the hairdressers. My mum looks at my hair and she cannot believe her eyes, and she's like, what the hell have they done to you? Bear in mind I had that other bit at the back that she chopped off, making my hair even more irregular. My mum rings the hairdressers, but unfortunately it's the end of the day. It's around 5 o'clock now because I'd gone after school. She rings them up and she's like, you know, what the hell have you done? My daughter is on the floor literally having a breakdown because you absolutely butchered and ruined her hair. And they were like, oh, there's nothing we can do. You can come back another time and we can try and fix it. They weren't even apologetic. It's because they knew they'd messed up. Oh my God, I thought there was a wasp in my flat then. I can hear buzzing. So my mum was like, okay, we're just gonna have to leave it. She was then trying to console me, not knowing what on earth to do with my hair. I will attach the dreaded picture on the screen for you for a long period of time. This was my after photo. That should be the before photo. This should be the after photo. That was what she'd done to it. I actually can't believe that happened. I'm just looking at the picture now and it literally goes nah, 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 nah. And what is that super long rat's tail that she'd created? Even looking back now, having fixed my hair, it is insane. You might be sat there and thinking, why wouldn't you just go to another hairdresser and just get it all cut to the same length? If you see where my shoulder is, maybe we could have cut it to there and made it all one straight line. But I didn't want really short hair. I've always liked my hair long. I've had it short once and I just really don't suit it. I think I had it to like there. To me at the time, that wasn't really an option, but I was traumatized. I said to my mum, I will never go to a hairdresser's again. I have anxiety. My anxiety is so bad. If I was to go to another hairdresser, I'd probably have a panic attack because my hair is everything to me. My mum's trying to console me and she's like, don't worry, I will help you get your hair back to a good state. But here's where the issue began with my like hair dysmorphia. I am surprised I didn't get bullied or anything for that. I think I disguised it well. It was awful. If I could sue, I would. How would you leave someone like that and not even be apologetic? Yeah, the issue was I was then too scared to get my hair cut, even though I knew it would have helped me. After that, I think I got it trimmed by my mum once, just to try and get it a bit more level. But even that was difficult for me. You know, I'd be crying and panicking and I'd be like, please don't cut too much, please don't do what she did. Bear in mind, I don't think I ever got my hair thinned again. I actually realised it never needed to be thin. That was the worst part. It is just what you put on your hair and what you use on your hair to make it sleek that is more important. Because my hair used to be quite bushy after it was blow dried, but that was because it was done badly, not because it needed to be thinned. I refused to get my hair cut for at least a year and it grew, don't get me wrong, but it looked terrible looking back. It was all thick at the top and all thin at the bottom, obviously where that lady had ruined it. Almost like a diamond, that's how I used to describe it to people. And it would almost look sort of rat-taily, like it really did look like tails. It really wasn't nice. But I was too far into my hair dysmorphia that I just didn't want to cut it. I refused to let anyone touch it because I was convinced they'd ruin it more. I was convinced nobody could fix it, so I just kept letting it grow and grow, getting thinner. Eventually, I was brave and I said to myself, your hair is disgusting, like your hair is horrible. I started having regular trims with my mum, thank God, and I've eventually got it back to this state, which has taken many years. Lots of love, lots of care, and as of recently, lots of hair products, which I've also done a whole video on. You can go and watch that if you're interested in the hair products that I've been using on my hair. I can definitely confirm that products really do make a difference. When I was 18, I then got glandular fever and loads of my hair fell out, so that didn't help the process. My hair became very breakable and brittle and dry and thin and patchy oh, it was terrible. I wore these sort of huge extensions until I felt my hair had got back to a good state again, which actually worked at the time. Shout out to Lullabells, I got it from them. Although eventually they stopped blending in with my hair. They were only good for a while. So if you can learn anything from me, please just learn. Either, unless you can avoid it, unless your hair is actually causing you grief, don't get your hair thinned. Or if you do, speak up, and if they're doing it in this half of your hair, get out the chair. Sorry, that rhymed. Just say stop. Just be like, you're not doing it right. It's not even hard to just quickly Google how to thin your hair to know you shouldn't be thinning at the bottom. So whoever taught her that, the hairdresser that ruined my hair, is negligent. How could they do that? And lastly, hold someone accountable if they've ruined your hair. I'm sure many girls have got similar experiences. That's my little hair story for you. I can now safely say I am at a point where I will let somebody cut my hair, my mum. If I needed to, if it was life or death, I would let somebody else cut my hair. I still don't really feel like I want somebody else to, just because my mum really listens to me. If I say, can you take half an inch off, she will do it. I hope you've enjoyed my little disaster story. Let me know in the comments your nightmare hair stories. Let's all unite. And thank you for watching. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers. I'm a quarter of the way there at the moment, I think. Maybe by the time I post this, I might be halfway. Don't forget to like and subscribe as always, and I will see you in the next story time.